Hello friends, we are going to be starting on something called linear perspective. Now this starts pretty simple and it can get very complicated and very interesting pretty quickly, but the basics of it are pretty basic. It's just a matter of things that are closer look bigger, things that are further away look smaller, and that has to do with some math, which you'll have to have somebody else explain. All right, so some of the vocabulary I'm going to be using. First off, linear perspective. Second, I'm going to be saying vanishing point, or VP. It's this spot right here. I'm also going to be talking about the horizon line. That's the line here that separates the sky from the ground. And this is a desert scene because that makes it simpler. So it's just a straight line. I'll also be talking about parallel lines, and those are lines that could go on forever and ever and not cross. And I'll also talk about converge. Now, this is the essence of linear perspective. Let's take two parallel lines. If they kept going forever and ever, they would never ever cross. But if we talk about things that are further away look closer, even if they're the same size. So if I have this magic cube here, and I have this one here, this one's going to appear further away in your average picture than this one because it's smaller. Things that are far away look smaller. But if we have these are attached, let's say they were theoretically the same size, and I'll start with I'll start with a square like that, a rectangle, yeah, sure. I'll start with another rectangle like this. Now these, let's pretend these are the same size, but this is further away. Now if I connect them, at each point, if I were to walk up and measure right here, if I were to walk into my picture and measure them, they would be the same size. But because each section is further away, it's going to look smaller and smaller as it gets further away from me. That means that even though in the real world, these lines are parallel, meaning they should never cross, because things that are further away look smaller, there is an illusion that they are going to converge, which means come together. And they are going to come together at a point called the vanishing point. That is the basics of linear perspective. And it gets more complicated where you can have multiple vanishing points depending on your angle. And it's usually broken up into 1 point linear perspective, 2 point linear perspective, and so on. And if you look at MC Escher's stuff in some of the more advanced perspectives, it can get real bananas. But for now, we're just going to be doing the basics of our 1 point perspective, just to give you a scene of it. Linear perspective is one of the few art techniques where a ruler honestly does make it better. So, this is my horizon line. I'm going to put my vanishing point right here. Up here's the sky. Down here's the ground. The closer things are to the vanishing point, the smaller they look because they are going to be, in the sense of our illusion, further away. So I'm going to start by drawing a little abstract sun right here, but here we are. So I'm going to start at the vanishing point with 1 point linear perspective everything starts at the same vanishing point because it's 1 point. That's the point, and here's the point. So this is going to be one side of my road. Here's the other side of my road. Now it's going to appear to disappear at this one vanishing point, even though I missed a little bit. Just don't tell anybody, okay? I might also add the center line. So again, I'm going to come back to my vanishing point. That's going to be the basics of it. I can add more details, like I could add some cactus here on the side. And notice the ones that are further away, the ones that are closer to the vanishing point, are smaller. Bigger, medium, small. Very small. Okay. Now these white lines in the middle of the road are going to get smaller as they go further back. And that's the basics of it. The other side of this is that things that are closer to the vanishing point are going to look smaller. So you can add some clouds. And this is sort of a style that our good friend Georgia O'Keeffe, that's the word I'm looking for, did. She's got several famous paintings of the desert that sort of use this. These clouds are smaller near the horizon. And they get bigger and bigger as they get further away from the horizon and closer. You. Awesome. I'm going to take a minute and color this. I'm not going to add things like the telephone poles or the houses or anything like that on this one because I want to keep it fairly simple. So that's it. I'm going to color now. Please enjoy. You'll notice that it's going to be lighter near the horizon and darker near the top. You can think of that because when you're looking up, you're looking more directly straight up into space, which is what's on the other side of all that atmosphere that's refracting, not sure on the science, the blue back at you. So it makes sense it would be darker as you're looking more up because that's where space is.